I are completely screwed. They're screwed. If you guys agree, leave a like in this video, please. If you guys agree, that would be absolutely incredible. If you guys could leave a like. But we've got to talk about it. We have got to talk about it. But the Chicago Sky, a lot of people are talking about the Sky being potentially a team that kind of maybe improves, a team that has a core players to build around, a team that might be able to get players in free agency. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I just don't. I just don't. Nobody knows when that's going to be ready. Nobody knows when their thing is going to be ready. Their arena is going to be ready. No one knows. It could be any time. Legitimately, it could be any time in the next in the next year. It could be absolutely any time. Or in the next couple of years. People are talking about them getting a hardship player for Courtney Vandersloot, who's one of their best players, who's probably tore her ACL. Who's almost certainly torn her ACL. The way she moved, she's almost certainly torn her ACL. You've got Angel Reese regressing. You've got Camila Cardoso not improving. And I don't know if I'm going to call Camila Cardoso's regression. I don't know if I'm going to call it regression exactly. However, what I am going to do is I'm going to say it's no improvement. There's been no improvement made from Cardoso. And she is still as passive as ever. And that is something that I think a lot of people are understating. The Chicago Sky, because they went out with 12 players, they can't get a hardship player. They cannot sign a hardship player because Vandersloot got injured and Mariah Jefferson's injured. Just like the Storm couldn't because of Katie Lou's injury. You can't just randomly sign a hardship player. You need to be down to 9 players. So right now, their only point guard is Van Lith, who just had a 4 turnover, 0 assist game. Van Lith is not good enough to run the point at the WNBA level. At this point in time. I'm not saying Van Lith will never be. She is not good enough to be a starting point guard. And not even remotely close to being good enough to be a starting point guard. And that's something that I think a lot of people just aren't talking enough about. That they're now in a situation where Van Lith is going to have to play huge minutes. And it is now a situation where you've got the Fever and these other teams that are these young teams, and they were meant to be at the same level as them, and it's just not. You've now got a situation where a lot of people, the Mystics have overtaken them in terms of relevance as a young team. Camila Cardoso and Angel Reese, we have to be honest here. Cardoso and Angel Reese don't work. They don't work. They didn't work last year. They don't work this year. They didn't work with Sloot. They're not going to work with Hailey Van Lith. They're both better without each other. They're Cardoso without Angel Reese. It was good, and because of that, Cardoso gets no touches. Cardoso's significantly better than Angel Reese right now. Look, I don't think any of them are. I don't think either of them are these all-star players right yet, but she's the better. She's the better of the two. That is maybe not a factual statement, but just my opinion. And they don't play well together. They're Cardoso is significantly better with Beck Allen on the floor. Ironically, Angel Reese is significantly better with Beck Allen on the floor. If the Chicago Sky continue to try to force these two players to play with each other, they're just going to keep losing games. If they still keep building around two players that clearly don't fit with each other. You have got a coach that wants a team to shoot threes and run up and down and play fast. And you've got one offensive player in Cardoso who wants to be a pick and roll, who's probably a pick and roll big, and another offensive player in Angel Reese whose job realistically should be living off scraps. But I don't even know what she does right now. Like, if you're telling me on the offensive end, what does Angel Reese do? Offensive rebound. That is it. She's regressed. She's regressed, and she's not going to improve playing beside Cardoso for another year. And that's the thing, is like, it's fine to admit it. It is fine to admit players don't work. It's not a knock on either of them. It's fine to admit the players don't work together. And this WNBA thing is people are like, oh, you're trying to get between those two players. Like, no, it's a basketball take. It's a basketball take. They don't work. And we can be honest. These two players don't work. You've got Courtney. There is no coaching in the year of 2025 that will make Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso playing together work. There's no coach. There is absolutely no coach in the year of 2025 that will make that work. The only way you can make it work is by trying to do what they're doing now, which is, like, they've stopped going to point center Angel. They stopped going to point center Angel because it was just a disaster. It was an absolute disaster to point center. She's just not good enough. She's just nowhere near good enough to run point center right now. And the problem is that the Sky don't even have their own pick. The Lynx have their pick. The Lynx have their pick. The Lynx have their pick. Like, they're literally tanking to give the Lynx a lottery pick. The Minnesota Lynx are probably going to get one of our fam, who is probably the best player in next year's draft, let's be honest. Lauren Betts, our fam, Lauren Betts, AZ Fudd, Olivia Miles, Flaw J, Tanaya Latson. Who else is in next year's draft? I can't even remember. I can't even remember off the top of my head. And then there's bound to be at least 2 to 3 players in college who just have ridiculous senior seasons. It is like they are giving the Lynx one of those picks. And I understand they got the pick from the Sun, which is the only silver lining. But, like, adding, for example, AZ Fudd does not fix the fact that Reese and Cardoso can't play with each other. It does not fix the fact you don't have a point guard. It does not fix the fact that it's hard to play. It's hard to be a teammate of these players in terms of fit on the court. I'm not talking about them as people. Not talking about them as people. This is just purely it being hard to play with them. Because that is a fact. It is hard to play with these players. Just purely because of their play styles. It is extremely difficult to thrive because there's too many people in the paint. And when it's hard to drive into the paint, it can also be hard to shoot the 3-ball. Because you have to either play inside out or outside in realistically, and they're not good enough to go inside out, and they clog up the key while not being good enough to go inside out. It is a horrible situation. And if you're to ask me who is in the worst long-term situation in the WNBA, I would say long-term, like, Age is only 29. She's only 29. Jackie Young's 27, 28. Like, the Aces aren't in that situation. The Connecticut Sun are in a better situation because people don't realize, one, like, JC Sheldon's going to do JC Sheldon things. Olivia Nelson-Ododa is at least an equivalent of Angel Reese. I'm not saying she's better. She's at least an equivalent right now. Olivia Nelson-Ododa is pretty damn good. You've also got Layla Lacan coming over, and you've got a coach who kind of a good coach. You've got Sanaya Rivers, who's real good, and Anissa Morrow, who you never know. You never know Anissa Morrow. They've got a better young core. The Washington Mystics have a unbelievable young core. People forget Jade Melbourne's 22 years old. The Atlanta Dream, Tina Paopao, Naz Hillman's not old. They don't have as great a young core, but like Alicia Gray is not that old, and Ryan Howard is 25. So they've got a brighter future. The Dallas Wings, Geisel Soder, Paige Bueckers, Quinnerly, Isaiah James, similar enough. Similar enough. You get rid of that useless coach they have. Bring in some players that actually know how to play team basketball and trade Arike, core Arike, and trade Arike to some idiotic team that still thinks Arike is a good basketball player. And they've got a better future. The Liberty, obviously. The Liberty and Lynx, the two smartest teams in the W. The Sparks have Rakia Jackson, Cam Brink. Sarah Ashley Barker is not great, but she's at least a hustle player. She could be Alexi. She'll probably be Alexi Hull type player. Seattle Storm, they don't have much, but they got Malonga. They got Malonga. Let's be real. They got Malonga. Like, the Sky have no future. They've no present, past. They've no present. They have 2021. Jesus. They have a past. They have no present. They have no future. Like, even the Mercury. Monica Cole-McCann is better. Cole-McCann is better than any of the young players. Even the Mercury. The Mercury have a better freaking, one young player, maybe both of them. But, like, you've got Dominique Malonga coming out with 4 points in 6 minutes. Like, if you look at how Malonga's been playing, by the way, the youngest player in the WNBA, coming out 8, 2, 4, 8, 6. I said this, if Dominique Malonga averaged 5 points per game as a rookie, I would be on. That would be my prediction. 4.3, and it's going to be 6, 7 by the end of the season with the improvements. Like, these other teams have all been smarter. They've all done better things. They've all done smarter basketball moves. The Chicago Sky made bad basketball moves. And look, the Chicago Sky didn't have a bad offseason. Sloop was fine. Kia Nurse, I don't know what his obsession is with Kia Nurse over Beck Allen. Beck Allen's fantastic. Bringing in Beck Allen for nothing is fantastic. But, like, it's literally a case now where you've got just the only way you can kind of redeem this is by trading one of Reese and Cardoso. Thank you so much for the $5 tool restoration. But you got to trade one of them. You're not going to be able to trade Angel Reese because there would be riots. So you got to trade Cardoso. But teams know you have to trade Cardoso. So what are you going to get for Cardoso? What team needs Cardoso next year coming into the draft? With everyone being protected and everything and like coring players, and Jeff Pagliocca's the type of GM that's going to probably try to trade Cardoso for a star. They're probably going to look and be like, I don't know, someone wants to leave. Oh, trade her for Kalia Copper. Trade her back for Kalia Copper. You traded Kalia Copper for her, and now try to trade her back for Kalia Copper. Something stupid like that. Something stupid. They do something stupid like that. But anyway, yeah, they're in a rough spot. They're in a really rough spot as a team. They're in a horrible position, and the only way they can get out of the position is by pissing off their fan base. Not good. Not good at all.